think one of the things that's helped me on my self-care journey is never subscribing fully to the self-care isn't selfish mantra. I remember the very first time I heard someone say self-care isn't selfish, my initial gut audible reaction was like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. So much so, I was so confused by how everyone just kept saying self-care isn't selfish, self-care isn't selfish. And I just was like, I was so baffled by that I literally went and looked up the word selfish to make sure I understood the definition. And once I looked the word up, I go, okay, I understand why people are saying it isn't selfish. I get it now. But you have to be selfish in order to practice outrageous self-care. So the self-care in itself is not selfish, but in order for you to be able to practice it and to get any results or benefits from it, you have to be selfish. The first thing I told you I did was I limited access to myself from people, which is a selfish act. I started going to therapy and spending money on therapy and doing the homework in therapy, which is taking away time from others and doing things that could have been done to benefit others. But I had to be selfish with my time and my money in order to get that self-care down. And now I still have to be selfish with my time in order to be able to outrageously practice self-care and care for myself. I have to be selfish. The first time I started questioning words was when I read the book Max Gladwell. What is this guy's name? I can't remember the name of the book. I'm going to try to look up the book. And the word entitlement was in that book. And entitlement has always felt like a negative word. But he was talking about a mom talking to her son and the son going to the doctor's office and that he was 10 years old. And the mom said, you are entitled to talk to the doctor and tell him how you feel. And if the doctor says something you don't understand, you're entitled to say something back and question it. I think that we need to start kind of questioning how we're using words in our vocabulary and how it works for us, and kind of questioning what these words really mean to us. Like, for some reason, rest has been defined as lazy. I remember, and I've told this story before, I remember being younger and needing a break because I would always try to explain to my older cousin that we got breaks in school, but when you become an adult, you don't get breaks. And I feel like I just need a break. And I would take PTO just to be off. And she would be on my case about taking PTO for no reason. And my mom would be on my case for taking PTO for no reason. And I didn't have the language or vocabulary. And I didn't trust myself more than I trusted them. I valued their opinion more than I valued my own. And so I never could articulate, like, I just needed a minute. I just needed a break. It wasn't lazy. I didn't have errands to run. I wasn't on vacation. I just need a day off. And that's what PTO is about. So you have to be selfish in order to practice outrageous self-care. And you're not lazy because you want to rest. And resting is productive. If you spend the day resting and then you get up and do an activity, that activity is not the only productive thing you've done. Resting is productive too. So you get to really redefine how you use these words in your self-care journey that will make it more powerful and it will make it lasting. Like, your self-care will last longer when you start redefining. And and you get to redefine the way you do things. One of the things I did last year for my self-care was go to my director and push my work time, my start time back. I had been getting to work at 7:30. That was very stressful for me because of my job. I needed more time after waking up to give myself space before I got into that job. So she was like, fine, you just need to be here before your boss, before your chair. I rarely get to work before he does now. And he doesn't like it, and I can't worry too much about that. I don't worry too much about that. You get to find what your morning routine was like. My morning routine is not hot girl, boss babe, hustle, hoe, none of that. Me taking my time. It involves me doing my hair, it involves me doing my makeup. It involves me being me. Your self-care routine will become outrageous. It will become lasting once you start redefining the world around you. Understanding that self-care is not selfish, but you have to be selfish in order to practice the self-care. Redefining what your routines look like. And if you don't have routines, you actually do. It's a lack of routine that you have. Creating routines that based on you. What do you need in the evenings? My evening needs to be a certain way so that my morning can be a certain way. My morning needs to be a certain way so that my day could be a certain way. My lunch break at work needs to be a certain way, and my afternoon tea at work needs to be a certain way. My Saturdays and Sundays need to be a certain way. Define these things for you and get your self-care routine in order.